Hi, recently I published a video and I showed how we have obtained a limited number of replacement speaker cones for the NuTone IS68 entry door station. The IS68 is used exclusively with the NuTone IK15 and its cousin model, the IK25. Parts for the IS68s have not been available for a long time, and we ran across a small supply of them, and I did a video showing how we can build a replacement assembly, which is the speaker cone, a new push button, the two new capacitors, and the wiring harness that connects it all up, which you can easily plop into the back of your original IS68 housing and make it work like new again. That's been a fairly popular video. I've had a couple people ask a couple good questions about this, so I thought I would do a follow-up video. The questions all revolve around, how do I know that I need new working parts for my IS68 entry door station? And that's a really good question. There would be three likely problems that you could have with an IK15 or an IK25 intercom system, and those problems that have to do with the door stations are, you may have a door station that the door chime will ring on the inside station, but you can't communicate back and forth. That would be most likely a bad speaker cone. You may have a situation where the door chime won't ring, but you can communicate back and forth, and that would be most likely a bad button. Or you have a situation where neither the button nor the communication works in any way whatsoever. Problem number one and problem number two are pretty easy. If you have partial functionality at your IS68 door station, either the button will ring the chime or you can communicate back and forth if you initiate a call from the inside station. Those are pretty simple. You've got either a bad button or a bad speaker cone. So that's pretty simple. Since there are only two wires that connect this station to the inside station, if either one of those functions work, you know the two wires are okay, they work. But what if you have a situation where nothing here works? The button will not ring the chime and you cannot communicate back and forth. How do you really know that it's a problem with the IS68 and not a problem with the wires that connect it to the inside station, or a problem with the inside station itself? Well, that's what I'm going to show you how to determine now before you buy the replacement parts to repair your NuTone IS68. The troubleshooting for this is actually pretty simple. All you're going to need mostly is a screwdriver. So go outside to your IS68 and detach it from the wall where it's installed. And it's just held on with two screws. And hopefully they won't be super long. They're about an inch or so. There's one, and there's another one here down at the bottom. And when you take it off the wall, don't lose the screws, you'll see that the two wires that come off the back of the button are connected to two wires that come out through the hole in your wall. Now, the colors of wires will vary from installation to installation because the type of wire that was used was not critical. Most of the time what you're going to find is some type of 18 gauge wire. Most commonly it will be a red wire and a white wire, or a black wire and a white wire. In this particular case, since this was installed by a NuTone intercom guy, he used two of a 3-wire cable that has a blue and a red wire. As I always tell people, the electrons don't care what color the wires are, they just want to be connected up properly. So you have the two wires that come off the back of the button, and they're connected to the two wires that come out of the wall. So here's how you test to see if the wires are good, or if you have a problem with your inside station over there. First thing you have to do is remove whatever kind of wire connectors were used to cover up the splice of the wire. These are little crimp-on connectors that actually were never crimped. Most of the time what you're going to find are some little gray or blue wire nuts. So you just untwist the wire nuts, and then you're going to take the wires and disconnect them from the wires on the back of the IS68. It doesn't matter. You don't have to keep track of which color wire was on which color wire on the IS68 door speaker. It doesn't make any difference. You could hook it up either way and it'll work just fine. If you've disconnected the IS68, all you have to do is take the ends of the wires that are sticking out of the hole in the wall and touch them together. If your wires are good and if your inside station over there is good, the inside station will ring. Just like that. By making it ring, you now know that the wires are okay, because if they were broken or shorted out, then the inside unit over there won't ring. Or if the inside unit has a problem, it wouldn't ring. It may make some kind of weird, garbly, kind of buzzy sounds, but it definitely won't ring properly. This is a way that you can test to see if the wires and the inside unit are good. Now, if when you touch the wires together, if it does not ring, then you still have a mystery. That doesn't mean that the IS68 is good necessarily. It may or may not be. You can do a visual inspection on it, but until you figure out what's going on with the wires and the inside unit, you don't really know for certain. What you would have to do at that point is you would need a continuity tester, or you would need an ohm meter, and you would have to measure out the continuity of the wires between the front door station and the inside unit over there to see if the wires are good or not. If they are good, then what you would have to do is assume that you have a problem with your inside unit. Since the NuTone IK15s and IK25s originally came out in the mid-1970s, there are some of them out there that are nearly 45 years old. And that's a really long time for any kind of device like this to be installed in a house and turned on for all of those years waiting to be used. These do sometimes wear out. Some of the things you'll notice when that happens is that you'll have a little bit of a buzzy sound in it, or when you try to operate the intercom to talk to the front door, or between inside stations on an IK25, it won't really operate correctly and you'll get a lot of strange noises. They just basically become old and tired. As for having these repaired, these are repairable units. However, there is sort of a catch about getting them repaired. Go back to, say, the mid-1990s. These type of systems, were referred to as entry intercom systems, and they were most often installed in big single-family home developments in place of a standard doorbell, or they would have been installed in maybe a townhouse complex in place of a doorbell, or a condominium complex. Usually it's in a neighborhood where you have many of these. There are neighborhoods in our area here where there are several hundred of these in one single neighborhood. And if you were an electrical contractor or a developer back in the 90s and you were buying several hundred of these as they were kits, where you got the inside unit, the outside door speaker, and the transformer in a kit, you might have paid as little as maybe $60 per house for the kit. So when we would get called out to do a service call on an IK15 or an IK25, and when these were still being manufactured so they were readily available, you would always take a new kit with you, because you wouldn't offer to the lady that you could remove her IK15 and take it back to the shop and rebuild it all and everything, because why would you do that? Because you had a kit, and even at the somewhat marked up price, she might pay us $95 for the kit and the service call to replace the components of it, which is quick and easy to do. So for the most part, no one ever fixed these. They were sort of throwaway items. If you had a broken one, you would just install a new one, and especially if it was an older one like this that's in the ivory color, and later on they made them in white. Everybody liked the white ones. So, oh yeah, I want a brand new one, and it's white, so that's a bonus, and that's all thumbs up. So let's just go ahead and put in the new one because it's quick and easy. They never really got repaired very much. Now, they are repairable models. However, one of the things you have to factor in is that the cost to repair something doesn't really have a ratio to what the product costs. The time to repair this, let's say a $60 item, can be very similar to the cost of repairing a more elaborate intercom amplifier, say I have a 516 system, which would have cost 3 times that much. So the cost of repair always seems somewhat out of whack with the cost of the product itself. That's just the reality of running a repair shop. Labor time is labor time, and parts are parts. They can be repaired, but they were never repaired that often. We do repair these, and we do keep parts in stock for them, so we can repair them. And they have some fairly unique parts. Specifically, the most unique part in one of these is the chip that makes the doorbell sounds, because that was a chip that was designed specifically to do that thing. And they're a little hard to find nowadays. We do have some, and if we need more, I'm sure we could probably find them. But if you have an IK15 or an IK25 and you know that it's the main inside unit that has a problem, then you have to factor in whether or not it's worth it to you to get it fixed. I hope this has answered the most common question about should I buy repair parts to rebuild my IS68 or not. I hope you found this interesting and perhaps helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube, because that always helps. There'll be a banner right here that shows you how to subscribe. Go to our YouTube homepage, click on the bell or on the wheel, put in your email address, and every time we post a new video, you'll get a notification and you can watch it. That's all for today. See you on the next video.